And we're live, Zach.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Mangum City Hospital Authority session for September 29th, 2020. Please call the roll.
Zachary,
Here.
high school. High school,
Here.
Lively,
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Item 1 on the consent agenda, discussion of possible action to approve the minutes from the August 27th, 2020 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
Have a second?
second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Lively,
Yes.
Zachary,
Yes.
high school,
Yes.
Item 2, discussion and possible action to approve the claims for August 2020. Consider a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the claims for August 2020.
And I shall be the one that approves those claims or seconds this, sorry.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
high school,
Yes.
Lively,
Yes.
Zachary,
Yes. Okay, item 3, under the reports, hospital department reports. Who's first? I got the agenda here. I can look, but I don't know who's first on here. Marie, Daniel, one of y'all help us on who's first.
All right, the departmental reports are all Melissa Tunstall.
Okay. Consider a motion to.
Hey, Zach,
approve this.
I'm going to just jump in here for a quick second. On these reports, we don't actually have to approve the individual reports. My recommendation on this is if there's any specific questions that the board needs to clarify, I think it's a Q&A, but I don't think y'all actually going to need to approve the reports as written because they've already presented them to you. That it's for your information. If you have questions regarding that information, then y'all can ask those specific questions instead of them basically reciting what they've already written down.
Okay. Anyone have any questions over the reports included in your packet? So, Corey, you're telling me we do not have to approve these reports?
No, those reports are only really included for your information. So really, if you have any questions to clarify a point, then that's fine. I mean, really the only report that we need to go over in any specific detail is probably the financial report.
Financial, gotcha. Okay. Any discussion then over to item 3? Okay. No action on item 3. Item 4, financial report. Any discussion over the financials? Any question?
Okay, so nobody's gonna do any kind of explanation. It's all just asking if we have questions.
All right. If
Well,
I
on the
may,
sorry, Oka, on the financials, I think somebody does need to run through the financials though.
Okay.
Who do we have?
Have Dennis here. Dennis?
Hey, Dennis. Go ahead, Dennis.
Hey,
And
can you
what
hear me okay?
page do they start?
Yes, Dennis, we can hear you. I'm looking, Elka, to answer your question. They're on down the list. You're after your departmental, of course. Billy, you don't know off the top of your head, do you?
no, I didn't print a copy of it out.
You didn't want those almost 400 pages on your desk?
No, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we.
Is
Elka, I'm
somebody speaking?
No, we're
My
looking
device is
for-
saying my speaker isn't working, so sorry.
You're working. I'm at page
Ilka?
118. I still haven't got to it.
Is somebody speaking?
No, Ilka, they're not.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead and start. We'll try to.
Okay,
find
I'm
out.
going to try to do my best. This is going in and out on my side. I'm kind of having similar technical difficulties that she's referring to as well. I'm going to go through what I believe Cassie has gone through in prior months. And so I'm just going to hit the high notes, and I'm going to see if somebody on our piece can text me if something goes in and out and you can't hear me any longer. I want to start with
We
Okay,
lost you.
Dennis, wait.
the balance sheets, which is something that I
Dennis,
always
wait.
try.
We lost
Dennis,
Il-
we're having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, we
Okay.
lost Ilka. We have to wait for Ilka to rejoin the meeting.
Hey, it's page 358, just FYI, guys, is where the balance sheet starts.
Thank you, Zach.
I'm starting to have a feeling that we're overtasking our Zoom here for some reason, because we've never had this problem before.
Dave, Zoom's had issues all day today. It's not just this.
Oh, okay, good.
Do you want me to try again?
Wait till Ilka gets back. Is she on yet, Dave?
Ilka is not on yet.
I'm bringing her in now. She's here. I can see her. I can't see her picture, but Ilka, can you hear us? Ilka, can you hear us?
Can somebody try to call her?
She's popping in now.
Okay.
Ilka, if you can hear me, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Can you hear us? That's the most important thing.
Now I can hear on the third device, yes.
Okay.
Ilka, financial start on page 358.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Again, if you need to have any problems hearing me, just let me know. Someone from Cohesive, hopefully. I'm going to start with the operating cash, and it's increased 741,000 from prior month. But the point of emphasis there is that we had to transfer another 500,000 from the stimulus fund. And in the notes that I have, and I've gone back through some of these from with Andrea Snyder at the facility, I'm trying to get my arms around Matt as I can and kind of take over where Cassie left off. But we basically owe back to the stimulus fund. So that's
Can you
what
tell that dollar amount again? You cut out when you said that dollar amount.
It's about a million 041, so 1.041 million that's owed back to the stimulus fund. We borrowed about 1.5 million, but we've got about almost 450,000 that we've identified that we're able to claim as COVID expenses at this point in time. That helps offset that. So if we had to settle up today, it would be about 1,041,000. And you can look on your balance sheet, the receivable, which should be about a little over 2.7 million compared to a payable of about 3.8 million. What I want to also make the board aware of is that there are still a lot of things that are up in the air, even as of today, with regards to what any hospital in this country is going to be able to claim as lost revenue. BKD has issued several things. HHS, American Hospital Association has made some arguments back and forth. So that's still up in the air with regards to what we can even track or what we're able to claim for lost revenue when the dust finally settles. I can only tell you that the governmental agencies agree to this. Our AR decreased about 143,000 from the prior month. Increased about 539,000. Part of this was due just to a timing difference. And then again, the other part is an impact from the COVID expenses that the hospital has incurred. With regards to the income statement, we have a slight increase in net service revenue in August, primarily due to an interim rate receivable that we recorded. So we did increase Medicare receivable that we have on the books right now. So based on the filed cost report, which only increased that, I believe that was about another 300, a little 400 on that. I'll have to get the exact number to you, but that was a favorable adjustment for the hospital. I always try to look at these compared to what our run rate has been. And so the short version for the hospital for the month of August is that overall our EBITDA was about 100,000 better than what it had been averaging for this year. It was still negative 198,000, but it's a slight improvement of about 91,000 overall. Net revenue and operating revenues were pretty much break even for what we had been running. And the primary reason that we were a little bit favorable to our current rate was because our overall expenses were about 100,000 less than what they had been. Let's see, what other notes I have to share? And again, the final cost report, the Medicare cost report was for 2019, we have 171,000 on our books. And I'm trying to see, that's about all I have. Unfortunately, we didn't have any negative adjustments for the month of August. Most of the things that we have were favorable with regards to a Medicare cost report. So I'm sure everyone's at least glad to hear that. Again, I will try to answer any questions that you might have. And again, I'm trying to get my arms around Mangum as quickly as I possibly can. If I don't know the answer at this time, I will certainly try to get that back to you as quickly as possible.
Okay, Dennis, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the comparative balance sheet, there's the part that deals with PPP loans, and it
Yes, ma'am.
says due to cohesive, and it's got like 232,000. What is that? Explain that part to me.
Hold on one second. Let me make sure I'm seeing where you're looking.
What
It's
page?
actually 363, page 363. Or it could be item 4 on your page.
Yeah, I've got a different file, so bear
Got
with
it.
me a second.
I think it's page 358 on yours, Dennis.
Yeah, but you're probably looking at a PDF, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're looking at the comparative.
Yes, the comparative balance sheet.
Okay.
I know that it might have been explained on down the way, but I don't have that in front of me. And I really wasn't certain with it written due to cohesive. I'm not sure what the due is meaning.
Anything with regards to the PPP loan, let me say this, even without looking at it, is currently as a liability because until we actually go and have the forgiveness, all that's going to be recorded as grant income when the dust finally settles. So anything that has the PPP loan as a liability at this point in time will end up with a zero balance. But what has to happen is all the proceeds will be funded. And once they are funded, then the bank will go through and apply for forgiveness. And once that's forgiven, that will go and be treated as grant income. So I'll try to look at the balance and follow up with an explanation in a Word document as well and get you exactly, but that's what that should represent.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dennis, did I hear you correctly that we just received notice of another receivable of a little over $1 million? Did I hear you say that early in your explanation, in your report?
I was saying that our Medicare, when we filed our cost report, it was higher than the original receivable that we had projected. And I'm going to try to get Andrea's schedule. I don't know if I have the latest ones. She sent, and I had her update that report. She originally had 971,000 for 2019. Then she had 792,000. And I'm looking at the last file that I have, and I know it's in excess of that. So I just need to get the exact number for you. But
okay.
I believe it's 1. Dennis, I believe the receivable was 1.3 million.
thank you.
Have we heard anything, Marie or Dennis, on whether or not they will allow us to receive those funds? Are they going to apply those to our debt? Will we not know?
Right, that is a great question. So let me tell you where we are on this time. Right now, it is very unlikely. We don't know the answer with regards to whether or not the hospital is going to receive the checks at the facility or if they're going to apply that to the loan. So the answer is no, that's still not unknown. We do know that all the extensions and everything else, and that's in the notes that we requested to have it extended, have been denied. But as of this very moment, we still don't know the answer to that. We haven't received, to my knowledge, the NPR at the hospital, nor has anyone with Cohesive received that either, to my knowledge.
And
Okay.
if it is applied, it goes towards our oldest debt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To my knowledge.
If I may,
Sure.
I came across, to those that might not be aware, our documentation for this meeting was about almost 400 pages. So sometimes it does take us a moment to get to the page that we're referring to. Our meeting kind of changed today regarding, I guess, reading reports. So the question that Cheryl had was regarding this particular point, if I may quote from page 369 of our report pack. And it was simply an update that read, Cohesive successfully applied for the PPE loan in July, and because of the decrease of employees to under 500 cumulatively for all parties involved, so that the loan could then help. I think maybe that was the question earlier, that it was under the name of Cohesive. I guess under that we all the different hospitals fall, or how is that 500 employee ratio configured? And was it just under the name of Cohesive, doing business for all the different entities?
Yeah, that is a good question. It's multiple entities. It's not every entity, but it is Cohesive. And Jamal may know all the corporate entities that are involved, but I also know that there's a few hospitals, and Mangum is one of those hospitals. And collectively, they have to stay under 500 employees. And that's being monitored by Cohesive HR. It's almost on a daily basis. I certainly know every pay period it's tested.
All right, and then as if the funds are approved, etc., then it just gets distributed by the amount of employees per entity, or how would you distribute, just out of curiosity, between?
No, it's based on, right, good question, thank you. It's on your actual payroll. So it's specific to each facility's individual payroll, and that's how it's distributed and utilized.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And I apologize again. I know I'm coming into late in the game and trying to get my arms around, like I said, everything as quickly as possible. So anything that you think of to ask, I can only be so prepared, not having a big history or a long history with the facilities. So I certainly try to get back to you on anything.
We just appreciate not just the willingness, but the, to help us understand some of these, areas and what have you. So we appreciate you coming into this stream, and we're all learning every month. Our reports are looking a bit different and so forth. So everything is a learning process. So if you're all patient with us, we graciously certainly are patient with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Dennis, have anything else? Any other questions by?
No, I would tell you in the future, what I'll try to do for you, instead of just writing a paragraph and everything, what I try to do is just make sure that the important and key financial topics are covered. I think most people can read, Zach, and I don't want to spend a lot of time regurgitating stuff that's right in front of you. What I do want to do is spend that time going through important, critical matters and bring those to your attention. So that's what I'll try to focus on, and hopefully be a lot more well prepared next time we talk.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Consider a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Zachary,
Yes.
high school,
Yes.
Lively,
Yes.
Okay. Item 5, hospital report from the CO for August 2020. And that starts on page 374.
374.
Yes. Any questions for CO, for Marie, over her report? Okay.
Couple of questions, if I may.
Go ahead, Elka.
All right. As usual, I appreciate the report style. I just had a couple questions regarding some details on it. that we added 2 new employees. Whoop, whoop. And then the next item shows that we also, I guess, the clinic director, is the clinic director the clinic manager, or is that an additional or a different person?
Thank you, Ilka. The clinic director and the clinic manager, those are used as the same, they are the same person. Sometimes we refer to her as the clinic director because we have a director's huddle, but she is the clinic manager. And that
All
is-
right, thank, good.
Any other questions? Consider a motion to approve. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Elka.
Anything that Ms. Marie would like to share with us that may not be on there regarding how everything is going, etc.? I miss her reporting, so I figure I'd give this question out to see if there's anything else to share or what have you, rather than everybody having read her report.
No, the staff, we are all doing very well. We have, everyone has done remarkable during the COVID pandemic. I commend all of my staff for pulling together as a team. We all very much support one another each day, and we begin our day with our director's huddle, and everyone has stayed motivated and completely I've just been impressed with the attitudes of the staff. I wouldn't ever want to go through a pandemic with any other staff than the staff I have at Mangum. They're amazing. So I would like to say that. Also, one of the highlights for August was the clinic director was awarded that scholarship. This is through the National Rural Health Association. She was awarded a scholarship for this program. This program is around $10,000, and the Oklahoma Office of Rural Health out of OSU only awarded 9 scholarships, and our clinic director was selected to become a certified rural health professional. So I did want to point that out. We're proud of her.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Thank you.
Any other discussions or questions for Marie? Okay, consider a motion to approve the hospital report for CO for August 2020.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Call for the vote, please.
School. High school.
Yes.
Lively.
Yes.
Zachary.
Yes. Item 6, discussion and possible action to approve contract between Mangum Regional Medical Center and Pharma Force Group LLC.
Hello, this is Daniel. Good evening,
Daniel,
everyone.
okay, go ahead.
So you have the service agreement before you. That's a software program that we will that we would like to get involved with, and that will help us as a third-party administrator for the 340B. And what that is basically they're going to work through our system, our EMR system, to determine the eligibility of prescriptions that our providers give out. Now, these would be for private pay community members. It'll help save them a little bit of money. It'll also get a little bit of a revenue coming into our local pharmacies. Pickets or puckets? Help me remember. Okay, I get that confused every time. Thank you. As well as Mangum Drug has agreed in this partnership with us. Basically, it's an opportunity for some revenue to come in town through the 2 pharmacies and for the hospital. This company does all the work. They determine if they're eligible or not, and they let us know. And then, of course, we get some money back, and so do the pharmacies. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can.
So is it a verification of benefits software, or what does it do?
What it does is it scrubs our system to see the pharmacies or the prescriptions that we're writing that we give from our providers to see if those medications are eligible for this 340B reimbursement.
All right.
Is there any
And
cost to us?
No cost to us. It's just an agreement that we have that we will use PharmaForce. Of course, they'll get a little bit of money as well. It's going to be a win-win all the way around, but it actually doesn't cost us anything. It actually should bring some revenue into the hospital.
Any other questions, discussion? I think if I'm looking at the correct page numbers, Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, will one of us board members need to sign this? I see where Marie has signed it on page 380.
Yeah.
Would that be something that we need to sign, or is that something that Marie is authorized to sign?
My position is if we're going to be obligated, then we need to sign it.
Okay. I figured that's what you're going to say, but I just want to make sure. I just saw that we had a signature from Marie on page 380. So, and Daniel, I didn't see. Is there a term on here of any kind? Term limits, time frame?
The initial term is 36 months. And upon completion of the initial term, the agreement shall automatically renew for successive 12-month periods.
Okay.
Unless terminated by either party, providing a minimum of 30 days written notice of intent to terminate this agreement.
Okay, thank you.
It is an annual renewal.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion?
Daniel, did you say that it would actually be cheaper for self-pay people than it is currently? Or did I
Yes.
just make that up? It would be?
It will save the self-pays some money.
Okay.
Yes, because what it does, Cheryl, is it goes and verifies the eligibility for this 340B, and it looks for the very best pricing. So,
Okay.
On behalf of the patient,
yes.
the very best pricing.
Yep.
Okay. And the local pharmacies have already agreed to
The
sign
outpatient,
up
yes.
since our contract shows what their fees would be, etc. And they're all on board.
Yes.
Okay. For the duration of that 340B program, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve that contract between Mangum Regional Medical Center and the Farmer Force Group LLC.
Have a second?
I will second that motion.
Call for the vote, please.
Bicycle,
Yes.
Lively,
Yes.
Zachary,
Yes. Item 7, discussion and possible action to purchase a carport for the Mangum Regional Medical Center Family Clinic as a COVID-19 related expense.
Be glad to explain that one as well.
Go for it.
We're entering close into the flu season. Flu and strep is going to be on us real soon. Many of those symptoms will mirror what we would expect from COVID type patients or presumed positive patients that may have or may not have COVID. Not knowing that, we need a place to treat and triage these folks as they come to the clinic that's outside of the clinic. But we still want to be able to get them in an area that's somewhat climate protected, and our staff can come out and interact with those patients in their full PPE, and then not run the risk of having a potential transmission into our clinic. So what we're going to do is be able to screen them over the phone and determine whether or not they could come in, or if we need to step outside into this carport area and provide that service for them. It would be a temporary structure that would be secured to the area, but just a matter of moving about 6 anchors and we can pick that up and take it. Now, we've got permission from the landlord to put that there, and we also found out that it's going to be relatively easy to get that building permit to get it secured and placed in place there.
So how do we go about, as far as deeming this COVID related, and I'm assuming when you say that is that we are expecting to spend the money and it be forgiven, not having to pay it back. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Who gets the final decision as far as with hospitals, rural hospitals, on whether or not this is a necessity for COVID-19 expense?
That's a good question. I would think, again, my opinion on this would be the power of perception and the power of presentation. It'd be pretty simple to explain that anyone that would present with any type of GI symptoms, anyone that may have body aches or pains, anyone that have a sore throat or sinus congestion, those sort of things, we could easily put that in the bucket of that's a COVID type symptom if they have an elevated
Sure.
temperature. And for that, and to decrease the possibility of transmission into other patients that may come into that clinic just for, blood pressure management or any other type of routine type clinic visits to protect them, I think it'd be pretty easy to sell this, if you will, as a COVID need.
Hey, Daniel, this is Jamal. For the board, anytime there is a COVID expense item, we have a process where we go through our finance team, and we make sure the justification is written down and then reviewed before we approve the expense.
Hey, Jamal, have you been smoking?
You sound like Darth Vader.
I'm so
Jamal.
glad I wasn't the only one.
I was about to say something, but I really didn't want to be mean.
I was waiting for him to say, "Luke, I'm your father."
I'm your father.
Yeah, Jamal, we can't understand you.
Yeah, you
Yeah, we-
sound like you're got one of those electronic vocal cord reader things.
I can translate for him. What he's saying is that on all of our COVID expenses, they go through our finance department, and they allocate them according to COVID guidelines and according to the fund guidelines, and so they can be allocated and justified that way.
But
So
in the whole
Dennis-
grand scheme of things, Marie, we're talking about, if I read this quote correct, I mean, $1,570 total, correct? Is that correct,
is
Daniel?
correct.
That
Yes,
is correct.
as you know, the reason why we moved to this decision is because the day that Daniel tried to go put up the tent, in Oklahoma, the tents are not going to survive the wind and the weather. And we tried to put up a tent and it was a disaster. So I said, Daniel, let's move to more of a fixed option that can actually be temporarily anchored. So we made this decision together to present this as something that would satisfy the needs of our patients to be protected in the winter weather during this flu and cold season, as well as the COVID, COVID testing.
And actually, the reason, Marie and Daniel, the reason why I asked that question really wasn't because of this carport. It was just in the whole grand scheme of things of the monies that we have spent.
Right.
That if they come back and say these aren't approved under COVID-19, and then I guess I assume they fall under the loan program. Is that correct?
Zach, this is Dennis, and I will try to address that for everyone. Our approach, or at least I've recommended for all of our facilities that we approach all of these, is if we are going to be examined by a Medicare auditor. And so we have taken, to my knowledge, a lot of steps to not only identify expenses directly related to COVID, but to also document why those expenses are related to COVID. Now, I try to deal in probabilities. Do I think that it's going to be likely that, especially access hospitals, they're going to be audited as much? Probably not, but I always try to err on the side of caution. And so that's why we've taken those steps. I want to reemphasize that the area still not known today, that's up for dispute, or how we define the lost revenue that these facilities have done. And so I can tell you, between HHS and the American Hospital Association and a few others, they still have not made a final decision on that. So there's more concern about that area, the lost revenue, than there is about the expense tracking, because I feel like we've done a pretty good job of documenting that. And again, trying to err on the side of caution.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, is this going to be something that's common practice, that people are going to start seeing their patients outside? I mean, is that what's I guess, the clinic next door, is that are they doing that?
Well, isn't that more like a drive-through clinic for the test alone, so you don't expose other patients in the building to possible germs or viral things? So I'm thinking it's a drive-through situation to be a bit more protected.
That is
Daniel,
correct.
can you address that?
As far as what other facilities are doing, I can't answer to that, but this is our answer and a possible solution to what we, just to give you a quick, for instance, we had a patient show up that was presenting with symptoms. We swabbed them. They had a different set of symptoms, a different set of diagnoses, and then come to find out they were also positive for COVID. We want to be able to treat and diagnose that person outside to prevent any possibility of transmission, especially as it would pertain to anybody that's just in there to get some routine type clinic visits that doesn't have any of those symptoms. So we're just trying to limit transmission amongst our community and our clients that come into the clinic.
Okay, so this is only for people that are suspected to have COVID symptoms. That's what it's for?
Well, these are for people that may have symptoms that look like COVID. We're going to screen them outside, but we don't want to turn them away. We don't want to tell them go get a COVID swab and then come back when we get the results. We want to be able to go ahead and treat those patients, meet their needs, and get the answers that we need for them in the community.
Are we worried that they may try to ditch us and go somewhere else that lets you traditionally walk in? I'd feel weird in my car.
Yeah, Cheryl, I would like to address that. I recently, had my own personal experience, and I think that the mindset of the patients at this time, they understand that this is a different environment. They know that Randy and our clinic team is dedicated to providing them the very best care. They're very caring and loving staff over there. I haven't had any complaints so far. They know that we're trying to do our very best there. And I think that providing them with even this coverage versus just going out to the car, like yesterday when I had an experience, there was no covering. You just had to go out. And so I think it just provides them the very best solution for this winter weather in Oklahoma.
All right.
Any other discussion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the purchase of the carport for the MRMC Family Clinic under the COVID-19 related expense.
Have a second?
I'm still just a tad bit concerned that that's not going to pass as a COVID related expense. I mean,
why not? It's a covered entity where the patient is not exposed to the elements, and yet you're guarding and protecting the environment on the inside.
I totally understand what they're trying to do. I just worried that that's money that we're going to be in the hole again because it won't pass, and then that's more money that we owe. So.
Good
concern. Cheryl, if I may.
The amount.
Go ahead.
If I may, I've seen a lot of the requirements that go into being reimbursable COVID expenses, and I can tell you, having a cover over a hospital would cover it. Okay. Hospitals are getting a lot of money to do this kind of thing. They're getting a lot of money to build buildings that separate those patients from the general population. So in this case, this is just us saying, hey, we're just going to put an overhang over so that they don't get rained on while we're doing that triage. And absolutely, from everything that I've seen, and trust me, I've done a ton of research on what is and isn't reimbursable. Yeah, this is definitely one of those reimbursable expenses.
Okay.
And to follow Dave's comments, I've read hundreds of pages regarding COVID-19 relief funds, and basically the rule of thumb is if it touches upon COVID and you can not even reasonably just somehow put it in the COVID bucket, it's going to be covered expenses. It's a very broad definition of what a covered expense is.
All righty. Well, I guess I need to second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Zachary,
Yes.
Lively,
Yes.
High School.
Yes.
Item 8, discussion and possible action with regard to a litigation update regarding the ongoing litigation that arose as a result of Alliance Health Southwest Oklahoma, Inc., with possible executive session in accordance with 25 OS 307B4. We have a motion to enter an executive.
Yes, I will. I'll make that motion. Maybe the executive session.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Lively,
Yes.
Zachary,
Yes.
High School.
Yes.
All right, guys, y'all are gonna have to help me. I'm on my iPhone. I can't see anybody that's in the meeting, so we're gonna have to help Dave, let him know who needs to be in there. I don't know even know who's on the call today.
Sure. This is Sarah Potts. I'm on this call. Unfortunately, Michael English, who was with us last time, he had a family matter that he had to attend to, is now traveling. But we also have Michael Linscott, who was with us last time, as well as John Breitmeyer. And then we have one additional attorney that will be joining us. He was going to be a little bit late. His name is Sam Bratton, and he's not yet in this meeting. So he'll need to be added to the separate meeting once he joins in.
Dave, did you get all those names?
Yeah, as we were going along, I just need to make sure Michael's iPad, that is Michael.
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm going to verify these are the people going in. Cheryl, Corey, Ilka, John Brightmere, sorry. Mary Jane, Michael, Ronnie, Sarah Potts, Zachary, and myself.
I think that's everybody. Did you say Corey?
Corey, yes.
I think that's everyone.
And then there will be Sam Bratton, who will be joining us shortly.
Okay. Does Marie or any of the folks need to come in? I don't know.
I would probably add Dennis if he's still available, since he's the financial guy, and probably Barry Smith if he's here. If
Barry's not here.
Jamal, is Barry with you?
If you can hear me now.
Sort of. You sound a little funny, but we can hear you.
Okay, for those of you who haven't joined a breakout for it, you'll have to accept it. You'll have to join the breakout if you haven't. Barry is not here. Jamal just texted me. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Then I think Dennis needs to be part of it because he kind of knows the money side of things.
Okay.
So I would at least include him.
All righty. I'm opening the rooms now.
short meeting?
Dave, can you let me know when everyone's back?
This is Dennis, I'm back.
Looks like everybody's back.
Okay. Item 9, discussion of possible action with regard to executive session, no action taken. 10, adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'd be happy to second that motion, y'all.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Billy, you're muted.
Dave muted me, sorry.
I do that, sorry.
High school,
Yes.
Lively,
Yes.
Zachary.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Night.
Thank you.